Charles Wadhofio, an urban farmer based in Ongata Rongai, knows very well that necessity is the mother of invention. Had his son not been affected by cow milk, he would not be involved in dairy goat rearing today.
My name is Charles Wadhofio. I'm a dairy farmer. I do dairy goats in Ongata Rongai, which is in Kajiado County. And specifically, we are in this category of urban farming, where we do everything in an urban setup. We had some challenges with our son, and one doctor recommended goat's milk. So we went out looking for the milk. It wasn't available.
Goat milk was recommended because it does not have much cholesterol like cow milk, but getting it was a headache. Wadhofio would travel far and wide in search of the precious good. At times, all he could get was a few pints, which were barely enough.
Went all over looking for it from the supermarkets, from the farmers. You could not get it. Then somebody advised me to go all the way to Nyeri. That's where I could get goat's milk. Fortunately, that's my village, and when I went there, went round and got some milk. And then that's the first time that I encountered the goat's milk. Then from that experience, I thought that I could actually do the goats myself, and I went, bought some 2 goats and started to rear them. And then I found that they are very friendly animals, very easy to keep, and within 3 months we were getting enough milk for ourselves, for our child, and I thought that could be a good business.
He learned that there were many other people who, like him, were searching for goat's milk, and he therefore decided to act. The lack of resources forces people to find creative solutions to certain problems. It dawned on him that there was a huge demand for goat's milk, yet the supply was low. This realization led him to venture into dairy goat farming.
Dairy goats are not really a very common animal, but I specifically took on dairy goats because at one time I realized it's a huge challenge on availability of goat milk. It's common knowledge that dairy goats have got a good type of milk. Goat milk is a bit better than other milks, and it's recommended for some health reasons. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there who want to get the milk, but it's not available. So I looked at it. At one time I had the challenge of getting the milk, and then I decided, since I can do it, let me do it.
To roll out the project successfully, Wadhofio knew he had to research about goats. Using online resources, he got to know more about goat rearing and decided to expand his herd.
Around year 2012, I remember, and at that time it was much harder to get some knowledge. That time it wasn't as of now, where you can just go online and get whatever you want to know. That time things were a bit harder. Actually, even the internet was not as big as it is. And then again, we could not just go anywhere and get the information that we wanted on dairy goats. Fortunately, with persistence and perseverance, I was able now to dig in and out and get everything I need to know about dairy goats.
He also bought feeds and expanded the structure for the animals.
I started with alpines. Alpines are quite hardy, especially the fact that this is Kajiado, and we have a lot of indigenous goats with pastoralists moving around. So I had to look for a good goat that is resistant to diseases. And then after working up and down, I realized that alpines are the best. So from my experience, it's that alpines are good. They are hardy. They are easy to maintain, especially for the Kenyan environment, where we have some serious hardships at times.
Within 1 year, His stock had doubled because pedigree goats mostly give birth to twins and triplets.
Goats are very, very productive because if you have like the pure breeds, they get twins or triplets. So multiplying their number is quite easy.
Within a short time, his farm has flourished, with more than 20 dairy goats producing an average of 60 liters of milk daily. He sells the milk to individual clients and some institutions. Seeing as it was that the population of goats was rising at an alarming rate, he transferred some of the goats to his rural farm. Currently, he runs 3 farms in Rongai, Nyeri, and Murang'a.
We have one unit here and we have another one in Nyeri. This one here at the moment you are getting around 18 liters in a day. The Murang'a, we have a Murang'a one and Nyeri one. The Murang'a one, we are partners. We have a partner company that we do. And the Nyeri one, we also, all the 3 units we do like 60 liters in a day.
He says that goat rearing in an urban setup brings more profit than in a rural one.
For me, with the urban and the rural, the urban does much better. But during the drought that we had experienced in the last few months, it was a bit chaotic for the urban. Sometimes feed becomes so expensive. So the way I manage both of them is that the higher producers, the goats that are producing a lot of milk, I'll bring it to the urban. And the ones that are not producing and the kids, they'll go to the rural, so that I'm able to balance. In the rural, the beauty of the rural is that feeding is not an issue, but the issue is now logistics of transporting the milk. Goat milk is very perishable, so one would have to be very careful, because if you're very far from your market, it becomes a very huge challenge. The rural labor is cheap, food is available, but again, marketing becomes a huge challenge. In fact, it's only that we have a cooler on that side. That's the way we are able to manage. Because with a cooler, you're able to store your milk for 4 or 5 days and then you transport it once. But without that, it's actually quite tricky to manage a rural goat farm because of the transportation's cost.
He reveals that dairy goat farming is a profitable venture.
With dairy goats, you'll have to individually do the marketing yourself. But once you have a good marketing plan, the returns are much higher. I'll give you an example of Nairobi, for example. On average, a liter of goat milk will go anything between 200 and 250 shillings per liter, which is way above what you'd consider other dairy products. But it's upon the farmer to go out there and look for the market. Fortunately, if you're persistent, marketing is quite easy.
To get more milk, he feeds his goats with dairy meal. In addition to proteins such as soya and minerals, he says minerals are extremely important for lactating goats.
Our supplements consist of minerals and what we call proteins and microproteins. We have suppliers who do that, some from Murang'a, some from Nairobi. So what we do, we'll get the supplements and then do a premix with ordinary dairy milk from the market. We'll do the premix and then we have a complete diet. Then when we give that, we'll give like half a kilo per goat. Then from there, you just give it either grass or vegetables. And then our goats are good in production. One of the most interesting thing about goats and ruminants is the amount of feed they take. Ruminants can take so much food if you're not careful. So what we advise anybody would want to come in this industry is that, one, you have to be very careful on how you manage your feeding. If you feed them on grass, for example, they can feed on grass the whole day and they'll never get full. So what we advise people is that, one, you sit down and you analyze the diet of the goat. Then from there, you'll have to look for a balanced feed for the goat. The most tricky feed in ruminants is proteins. So one has to go an extra mile and get some extra protein, and proteins that are digestible to the goats. Once you have a balanced diet, the goat will just take anything between 2 and 3 kilos. And a balanced diet of a ruminant is about carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, and vitamins. Once you have a balanced diet, you don't need to have so much feed. And that is why sometimes I tell people that it's quite easy to do this in urban, because once you have your balanced diet, all you need is a little feed for the animal to run.
What does it take to succeed in dairy goat farming?
Passion. I call it passion because sometimes in business, one, as an entrepreneur, you have to have passion in what you're doing, and renewed passion. You have to own the animals. You have to be friends with the animals. This in animal husbandry, the animals are your friends. You have to have that emotional attachment to the business and to the animals. That is what it takes. That you wake up, they look at you, they are smiling at you. It's what it takes. The rest will just flow.
The agriculture sector in Kenya is considered to be the backbone of the economy. Even with this reality, most farmers do not make profits from their farming ventures. Wadhofio says that the challenge of marketing the perishable farm produce is what makes it hard for farmers to thrive.
The market for the milk is just so huge. Unfortunately, it's not centralized, and that is the biggest challenge that happens to be in this industry. Unfortunately, in agriculture, people relaxed. I don't know whether it's because of our rich cooperatives. It's that like almost everybody wants to sit down and wait for somebody to come and just collect their produce. But again, I'll always say, if you are in control, if you're in charge of the market, it becomes much easier because you dictate. Otherwise, you can sit down and get somebody to come here to collect your milk, but they'll dictate the price that they're taking with. So I advise people, go out there, look for the market. It's easy. And I challenge people. So many people are so good in multinationals and corporates who are so good in marketing. You'll find that people in marketing have got good marketing plans, but when it comes to something like a simple product like milk, you'll find that they're so relaxed, they are worried about the milk.
When he was starting, selling goat milk was not easy.
As much as they sound easy to keep, when it comes to production and marketing the milk, it's a bit tricky. Why? For you to market milk, you'll have to get something like a production of 20 liters per day. And people are not quite ready to get there.
Since then, he has managed to plan his business in a way that he always has milk buyers throughout the year. He practices synchronized breeding, a system of farming that enables him to have several of his goats calve down at the same time. The practice ensures that he has constant supply of milk all year round. Getting good veterinary and support staff has always proved to be a challenge to him. Whenever his goats are unwell or are having a pregnancy complication, he is forced to hire a vehicle to take them to a vet station miles away.
We've got challenges with diseases, and we would put all our faith to the vets, not realizing the vets themselves are in business and they've got their own things to do. So one time you realize that you're calling a vet, he's so busy out there, he's promising you to come, and then you're not even sure of what is happening. So what I decided is just to take a course in animal husbandry, so that even if I'm not, I don't have to put everything in out there. So anything that is happening to my goats, I know everything inside out. So that has been one of my pillars, that I have to know the goat, I have to understand it, everything. If it's sick, I have to understand what is happening, so that if I'm calling somebody, I know what is coming to do.
With the high demand for goat milk, another challenge is how to produce enough milk for sale. Today, he has more clients, and at times he is forced to outsource milk from friends and fellow farmers to satisfy the market. He also travels to his rural home frequently to collect milk for the Nairobi market.
The demand for the fresh milk is much higher.
To most Kenyans, goat milk is known as milk that has a unique odor. According to Wadhofio, any milk with an odor is contaminated.
Goat milk is very, very sensitive, and a lot of people will tell you that I can't take goat milk because it smells. It has got an odor. That odor is as a result of contamination. That contamination is a result of one, possibly unhygienic standards or poor handling. So one of the things that we have realized is that doing proper goat farming is that one needs electricity and refrigeration. When you're doing goat milk, the very first thing we need to do after, even before milking, we make sure that the goats are clean, the houses are clean. We use some very high hygiene standards, from the utensils to the person milking it and everything else. Then upon milking, we'll put the milk in a refrigerator or a freezer. So by the time the milk gets to the client, it's fresh and very clean. And you'll find that once you taste the milk, you can't even say it's goat milk. I remember one time I had an experience with a client. I took the milk and the client says, this is not goat's milk. I asked him, why is it not goat's milk? Why do you think it's not goat's milk? And he tells me it doesn't smell like goat's milk. So I would ask him, how does goat milk smell? And he tells me it smells like a goat, and this doesn't smell like a goat. Simply because this person has been used to that milk that has got some level of contamination. In fact, what happens, within the first 20 minutes, bacteria will actually attack the milk because it's very delicious. So that is what happens. So in our scenario, for us to do proper marketing, we'll have to make sure that we've got very clean environment, very high hygiene standards, so that by the time the milk gets to the client, it's super.
Having practiced good hygiene standards when milking and storing the milk, he says that at times his customers do not believe that what they are buying is goat milk.
Most of our customers would want to be assured that this is goat's milk, and they would want to see the goats. So when you're in an urban setup like this, you just call somebody, I have goat's milk, yes. Are you sure it's goat milk? Once you assure them and tell them to come and see the goats, they're so comfortable. That's one thing that I realized. People would want to would trust your milk when they see the goats, other than with somebody who's doing some, say for example, he's doing his milk in Nakuru, for example. Even if it was you have somebody bringing the milk from Nakuru, and you've got somebody selling the milk, milking right at your doorstep. So I find that with my scenario, I've got a better, I'm in a better position. So far from my experience, in fact, there are a lot of people who say I'd want to have the milk very fresh, like the one that was milked in the morning, and you're able to do that. Other than somebody who's doing it so far away, the milk has been frozen for 3-4 days, and that kind of thing.
To supplement his income, he also rears bantams and ornamental chicken. To farmers who want to keep goats, Wadhofio says the secret is feeding them well to ensure they stay calm so that they can produce lots of milk. To get maximum benefit from goats, he does value addition of milk.
We do value addition, we do yogurt, and yogurt is quite good, very tasty and very nice. At the moment we are doing just above 100 liters per week on yogurt, but that again depends on the demand for the fresh milk, because the demand for the fresh milk is much higher. In fact, we came to do value addition during the festive season. Most of our clients, you'll find that between Christmas and New Year, they've gone and closed they've possibly gone on holiday. So that's the time we have bulk production. So during bulk production, that is when we do the value addition. But as I speak now, value addition still, it's very good. And again, beauty with yogurt is that it's got a longer shelf life. So any excess milk that we have, we put it to yogurt.
To boost his knowledge and skills on animal production, Wadhofio enrolled for an animal husbandry course. With a wealth of knowledge on urban goat farming, he trains other farmers on the same.
I do full-time goats, and I also train people in urban farming, especially in the small five. The small five is the pig, the chicken, the goat, because these are animals that we need to actually look at in deeper. Why? Because we have a serious challenge in land. We have very limited land. The land available sometimes is so far away from where we are working. So with urban farming, things are becoming much better, especially for people who want to do something part-time.
He observes that any farmer going into dairy goat farming should be passionate about animals. For those interested in this venture, he advises them to start with the little capital they have, and if they do not have land, they should lease.
I'll tell you one thing. Find out where you can lease land. If you need to go to agribusiness, where you want to grow onions, you want to grow potatoes, you want to rear chicken, don't even think of buying. Leasing is always the best option.
The successful goat farmer says that agribusiness can help create job opportunities for many people.
In agribusiness, the figures are not quite open. Sometimes one needs to really sit with somebody like me and interrogate me before you can really understand how the margins are. Actually, in the nomadic areas, livestock is counted as in the number of animals you have. You have 100 cows, you take them to the market, you whatever. But when it comes to dairy, it doesn't matter how many cows you have. It's about how productive your cows or goats are. So sometimes with the youth, they are not able now to see that.
However, he warns, the ventures might need some patience before they can be profitable.
You have to be a bit persistent, because this is not like clothing where you just go downtown, buy some clothes, bring them in the streets in the evening, kumi, and then you count profits. It takes a little longer. If you're doing in agribusiness, when you're doing a business plan, we do on a 3-year plan. You break even by the third year. So that is something that people need to understand, that you've got to sit down, look at your finances, so that by the time you're coming in, you're not expecting like to break even within the next 6 months. I have, from my experience, and this is something that I always share with people, we had quails in this country. Quails became so popular because one was breaking even within 6 weeks. And that is if you found everybody coming in. But it's only that people don't understand. Like with dairy goats, it's simple. The first year, you'll have to feed them from your pocket. Second year, they'll have to feed themselves. So you relax a bit. Then from the third year onwards, they'll start feeding you and feeding themselves. Yeah, so that's a beauty. It takes a little bit longer. But once you have your systems right, you laugh all the way to the bank.
He looks forward to packaging and distributing his own milk brand.
I'm looking forward to packaging and retailing my milk. But again, we have got a huge headache with our distribution system, because you'll find that every other fast-moving consumable product, you'll have to rely on the supermarkets. Our supermarkets, every time you go to the news, they are going down. So most likely scenario, those huge supermarkets sometimes will go down with you. I've tried before to work with the supermarket, and you find that they'll delay your finances. You invoice, you expect payments after 10 days, after 90 days, you negotiate downwards, you come to 30 days. Even after 30 days, sometimes it's not easy to sustain their system. So that's a huge challenge. So I'm still working on a good plan, on a good distribution plan, where I can cut out the supermarkets, because I don't find myself taking my products to these supermarkets. But along the way, the plan is coming out. Once I'm I've done that, you'll find my products hitting the market.